This is another Eyewitness News election update. I'm Mike Marza. We are now less than 3 weeks to go until Election Day. And in the race for New York mayor, tonight the candidates will debate. They haven't been out on the campaign trail today, but they've certainly been active on social media. We're going to dig into all of that and what they posted today and what it means ahead of this big contest tonight. Joining me now to talk about it, ABC News Deputy Political Director Ben Siegel. Ben, great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Let's begin with Curtis Sliwa. He appeared on The Breakfast Club, which has really turned into a hotbed for political discussion. Certainly with Charlemagne the God as host, pressing both sides of the political aisle when he has these guests on. And Curtis Sliwa appeared, again, saying that he's not going anywhere in this race, either before the election or depending on what happens after the election, he's staying put. Let's hear what he told Charlemagne.
Let me tell you straight up, the billionaires are not going to determine who the next mayor of New York City is. Let the people decide. I trust people. I don't trust billionaires. I don't trust the professional political class. They are not going to choose the mayor. Let the people decide. If they choose Zoran Mamdani, I'm not running away. Like Andrew Cuomo said, oh, if he becomes mayor, I'm going to run to Florida. I stay. I improve. I don't move.
How is that stance going to impact tonight?
Well, it's interesting because Andrew Cuomo running behind Mamdani really has one shot to win this race, a very narrow shot, and it involves him really consolidating the rest of the field behind him as the main alternative to Mamdani. And I think that's Andrew Cuomo's goal tonight. The challenge, as you heard there, is that Curtis Sliwa, the Republican in this race, is not going anywhere. He is almost sort of an immovable object in this field for Andrew Cuomo, and he has people who support him. And to the extent that he's refusing to budge in this race and not throwing his weight behind another candidate that is not Zoran Mamdani, that's going to be good for Mamdani. That's going to hurt Cuomo, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out tonight on that stage.
Former Governor Cuomo perhaps crossing his fingers, or some proverbial version of that, hoping that Sliwa drops out, and it does not appear that's going to happen. So now he turns his attention to the frontrunner, Zoran Mamdani, and he's really sharpening his attacks on a variety of topics going after Mamdani. Here's what he posted today in a video on social media, the Cuomo campaign.
How do you feel about Mamdani? He lied on his college application and said he was black.
That's the thing that's driving me nuts. You're a Ugandan Indian, okay? You're not black. Why did you need that and still not get into Columbia?
That's not great. If he's going to say he's black, he should be able to support minorities. I don't think that's fair considering we typically are the smallest group there. That does definitely upset me.
That kind of makes you feel sad. Why would you make yourself seem like something you're not?
And this is about a 2-minute video or so on social media, so we picked a portion of it, but that is the theme throughout, criticizing Mamdani. First of all, if you're just a casual observer of this race and you're hearing this for the first time, you're thinking, what exactly happened? Can you fill us in on the backstory of the way Mamdani filled out his application to college?
Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing, but it starts with Mamdani's background. He is of Indian descent, but he was born in Uganda in Africa, and he has been very open that he sort of considers himself to be of many different cultures as a New Yorker. And this was reported, I believe, in a conservative outlet originally, and then it was confirmed by Mamdani in the Times that when he filled out his application for Columbia University, he mentioned that he was African American. I think he checked the box for that, but and later said that was not one of his identity did not fit narrowly and neatly into the boxes that were provided. So he's been pretty open about that once that was reported. But in out of context on the subway, obviously you're going to find people who are sort of confused by that, and it is sort of a confusing thing. I think the challenge again for Cuomo is that just because people might find that a little strange about what Mamdani did in his college application for a school he ended up not getting into, by the way. Is that necessarily an affirmative case to vote for Andrew Cuomo? I don't know. Maybe it was at the end of that 2-minute video, but it certainly was not in the bit that we just saw. So I think for Cuomo, again, his goal has to be to discredit Mamdani, some of his ideas, what he has said about himself, being such a young person trying to get this job on this big stage in New York City. And to the extent that this video sort of plays into that, that seems to be what his main strategy is going into tonight.
Ben, it's interesting you mentioned the age of Mamdani because he too posted on social media today and he kind of poked fun at that concept. And well, it's the reality. I mean, he's been 33, but he's celebrating a birthday now. And so he posted this video. We'll play a portion of it and talk about it on the other side.
You're worried about a 33-year-old becoming mayor of New York City. And I want you to know I hear you. That's why this weekend I'll be making a change. I'm turning 34. And I'm committing that for every single day from here on out, I will grow older. It's not something I ever wanted to do, but I know it matters to you, so I am.
So Mamdani turns 34 tomorrow, and it's a way he's been very creative with the social media videos, and in a large part that's how he's gained such a following from a lot of the younger people in the voting bloc. But what do you make of him tonight? Don't you feel like Cuomo is going to go after that fact? Because there's going to be a juxtaposition, now that people are focused on this race, of a clear distinction. Some people will say it's experience, some people will say it's age, perhaps it's a combination of both. What's the plan for Cuomo tonight to take advantage of what Mamdani was kind of joking about there?
I think you're absolutely right. I think Mamdani, again, he jokes about it, but there's no denying this is going to be someone who's 34 years old. If he wins this race, will be responsible for managing 300,000 city employees in a several billion-dollar budget. I mean, that's a very difficult, tall task for any candidate and any politician of any age, let alone somebody who does not really have managerial experience. So, yeah, Cuomo has to make that clear for New Yorkers that there's a contrast here. There's a candidate who might have some baggage, but who served as governor, who built things, who helped create change in New York State, and has a public record that goes back almost 50 years, dating back to when he worked on his father's campaigns for statewide office, and somebody who has the experience, has the gravitas, and the know-how to lead the country's biggest city. And I think for Mamdani, he is going to be focusing on how Cuomo has this other baggage, the allegations of sexual misconduct that forced him from office, concerns about how he handled the COVID pandemic. I think for Mamdani, he has to make the argument to New Yorkers that, yeah, I'm young, I'm inexperienced, but I will surround myself with smart people. He has begun to talk about this idea of bringing together a team of rivals, referencing Abraham Lincoln, bringing together all these smart minds from different political ideologies into his cabinet. He has started to say he wants to do the same thing, and he knows what he doesn't know, and he is going to account for that when he runs the city. And just because Andrew Cuomo has experience, well, experience has still gotten the city and got New Yorkers to this moment where this message of affordability that Mamdani is talking about is really resonating. The city is very expensive and unaffordable for many New Yorkers, and just because Andrew Cuomo has all the experience in public life, he will also have to answer for that record on the flip side.
Yeah, Mamdani actually turns 34 on Saturday, so a couple of more days while he still is 33. So we'll see how it all plays out on the debate stage. Just a couple of rapid fire, what we expect tonight with these different topics. There was the President Trump influence, and when he's talking about threatening again this funding for the Gateway project here in New York and in New Jersey. How do you think those types of issues will play on the stage tonight?
I think if there's one thing most New Yorkers can agree on is that they do not like the Trump administration bullying New York City. For Mamdani, he's going to make it clear that he's going to stand up to Donald Trump and challenge the Trump administration's efforts to punish New York City. And I think for Cuomo, he's trying to walk a fine line. He can't appear too close to Trump, but also make the case that, yeah, they come from, the same background. They have a longer history going back actually another generation in their families, but that can be used to the city's advantage. And then as Sliwa said, he's not in anybody's pocket, and he's been around a while. So I think Trump is going to loom large over this debate as he does over the city.
Last time we saw, at least in my recollection, last time during the primary, we saw Mamdani and Cuomo go at it pretty vividly on the stage, and you had Mamdani really kind of gain notoriety because of that exchange. Just in style purposes or style assessment tonight, what do you expect to see from Cuomo? Do you think he has to, for lack of a better phrase, like amp it up a little bit to kind of match Mamdani's rapid fire responses?
Yeah, there's a very sharp contrast here. You have somebody, a digital native, a millennial candidate who's very fluent on those 30-second videos, but is also able to talk on stage against somebody of a different generation, a baby boomer, for lack of a better term, who is maybe not as quick on his feet. So I think Cuomo does have to appear a little more nimble, has to be able to go at the speed at which Mamdani does, because you can expect, he was on Fox News yesterday, but use that to speak directly to camera at President Trump. I'm sure he's going to pull another moment out of his cap to try to make something go viral from this debate. Andrew Cuomo has to be ready for that.
And then with Curtis Sliwa still up there on the stage, how will he impact those two? Because clearly they want to go at each other. Curtis Sliwa is going to raise his hand and say, I'm still here. How will he factor into the trifecta tonight?
Yeah, I think you will see Cuomo try to reach out to his voters, make the case that he is the smarter vote compared to Curtis Sliwa. And Sliwa, as you said, that's a born and bred New Yorker, a very stubborn guy. He's been around a long time. He's not going anywhere. He's going to make it clear that he is a third option. It's not just about these two and the baggage and the controversy around them. He's offering a third path. Mamdani, I would be surprised if Mamdani, addresses Curtis Sliwa, because it's better for him to just really challenge Cuomo straight on and those questions about his experience versus Cuomo's experience.
All right, finally, we'll go through all three candidates. We'll start with Curtis Sliwa. What is the biggest challenge he has tonight in trying to resonate with some of the voters out there?
I think it's the big R next to his name. He's a Republican in New York City. It's something that at this day and age, when everything is so nationalized, how do you distance yourself from President Trump and appeal to New Yorkers? I think he's going to have to try to get around the party label and speak directly to New Yorkers.
And then for Andrew Cuomo?
I think for Cuomo, it's to not make any mistakes, not to slip up, and to really be able to speak to those voters who might be trying to vote for Curtis Sliwa or might be sitting out. How do you reach those other voters who will help you consolidate people behind Zohran Mamdani?
And when you talk about Zohran Mamdani, again, polling double digits ahead of the field, whatever you make of the polls. But what is the biggest challenge for him as he tries to land this plane in less than 3 weeks?
I think he has to show that he is a 33-year-old, soon-to-be 34-year-old who can govern the city, that he knows what he doesn't know, that there are concerns about things he said in his past around the state of Israel, around policing. What is he saying to address New Yorkers' very legitimate concerns about some of his past positions? And how is he really smoothing over some of those rougher edges of his rhetoric and his campaigns in the past to appeal to as many New Yorkers as possible? Because he is still working hard for votes as the front runner, because he wants to bring a mandate to City Hall.
And we know we'll break everything down with you and our team here at ABC as we follow along the way. ABC News Deputy Political Director Ben Siegel, always great to get your perspective.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Ben. I'm Mike Marza. Full coverage of all the big races ahead of Election Day, always available right here at ABC 7 NY.